Now at 5, authorities in Pittsburgh arrest 2 people suspected of robbing a convenience store. Plus, we'll hear from a local plumber about what you can do if your pipes freeze.
Congress is voting to fund the federal government just hours before current funding is set to run out. I'm Deborah Alfarone in Washington with some of the items that are included in this spending bill and why many Republicans aren't happy with it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Police arrest 2 people who they say robbed a Pittsburgh convenience store overnight. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Carrie Worthen. Authorities say just before 5 this morning, they got a call about a robbery at the Snack Attack. At the same time, they noticed a 29-year-old Benjamin Lewis running down an alley in the area and get into a waiting car. Officers started chasing. Lewis then left the car and tried to hide under a house. Lewis was arrested along with the car's driver, 27-year-old Cheyenne McNaught. Sam Lane joins us with the first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Carrie. It's a pretty cold day across the area, but of course that's expected with the snowfall that we've had and staying on the ground with dangerous cold temperatures and wind chills. In fact, there's still a wind chill advisory in effect for the Missouri side until tomorrow at noon, and on the Kansas side until Saturday at 9 a.m. and then down in Oklahoma tomorrow at 10 a.m. those advisories will start to be lifted a little bit. Temperatures tonight, though, very chilly. Single digits across the area with mostly fair skies. 9 degrees at 6 p.m., 8 at 8, and then 6 degrees at 10, and all the way down to 3 degrees tonight, I think. So let's take a look down the lane and show you what to expect. We're going to have a cold weekend, of course, and then maybe some Monday flurries to add to that, but there is a warmer week ahead. And what about a white New Year's? I'll have the answer to all that in just a little bit.
Many area roads are clear now, but there are some that could still be dangerous. It is important to still keep an eye out for any patches of ice while driving. Officials with Joplin Public Works say that they are continuing to treat roads to keep them safe.
Well, what happened was because we were looking at the weather, we didn't want to lay anything down because we thought it was supposed to be a wintry mix. So normally what we'll do is we'll lay brine down, and that way we have something between the surface and the snow to help melt that snow down.
You can find information about current road conditions on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Some 4-staters may experience their pipes freezing from the cold winter weather. Paul Keys, a local plumber in Pittsburgh, says the air temperatures are negative 20 with a 25-mile-an-hour wind. Pipes are freezing. There are times when just one pipe is frozen and it can be thawed with a hairdryer. For larger issues, Keys and his team use a jet heater to thaw pipes under the houses, but it is important to keep safety in mind when doing it as the heater can cause a fire.
It shoots a flame about 6 inches long, and people have actually lit their house on fire doing that. And so we use like an 8-foot long piece of pipe, and it forces the air under the house but keeps the fire outside.
Keys said that they can usually thaw a house in about an hour or 2. He also says about half of the time pipes will thaw out with a broken line. Lawmakers stayed in D.C. much longer than they hoped as they rushed to pass $1.7 trillion spending bill, which keeps the government funded through the end of September. Reporter Deborah Alfarone has more details from Capitol Hill.
Christmas was on lawmakers' minds as they wrapped up the final bill of the year.
Members have planes to catch, gifts to wrap, toys to assemble, carols to sing, religious services to attend to.
Christmas season is the season of giving. But in Congress, it appears the season of giving will line the pockets of Democrats' special interests and stick the hardworking Americans with the tab.
The House passed a $1.7 trillion spending bill Friday, largely along party lines.
The motion is adopted.
The bill includes more than $770 billion in non-defense programs like health care and education, $858 billion in defense funding, and it also includes $44 billion in aid for Ukraine, which a growing number of House Republicans oppose.
These massive costs are not our responsibility. They're Europe's.
This aid is an investment in the future of democracy and the safety of the free world. House Republican opposition to the spending bill was so strong that some members threatened not to support any legislation from their colleagues in the Senate if they voted for the bill.
If every Senate Republican did their job, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Despite the threat, 18 Republican senators joined Democrats Thursday in voting for the bill.
Most of what's in here has been put together in a bipartisan fashion.
It's the right thing for the government, the right thing for the nation, I believe.
The bill now heads to President Biden's desk for his signature. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Democrats rushed to get the bill passed before Republicans can take control of the House in January. Still ahead, some tips to avoid falling victim to identity theft scams this holiday season. And next in Health Watch, a story of a toddler with a rare heart defect celebrating his first Christmas at home. Topping today's Health Watch, COVID antiviral drug Polynavir may be effective as hoped. According to the new data published in The Lancet, a study looked at more than 25,000 cases and found the medication did not decrease deaths or hospital admissions for high-risk vaccinated COVID patients, but the drug did help with recovery. A toddler in Ohio will be home for the holiday after spending most of his life in the hospital and in rehabilitation. He was born with a rare life-threatening congenital heart defect. Reporter Christian Benedeliz has the family story.
Give me that string. At almost 2 years old, DJ Blake finally gets to celebrate Christmas at home.
Oh, look at you. I feel like it's our first Christmas as a family together. It's a lot more emotional.
DJ was born 3 months premature. Then doctors discovered he had a rare congenital heart defect, double outlet right ventricle. The heart's 2 major arteries are connected to the wrong chamber of the heart, preventing normal blood flow.
This is an actual replica of DJ's heart. I use these 3D printed hearts to allow proper visualization in order to execute the procedure.
Dr. Hani Najam at the Cleveland Clinic has pioneered what is called the ventricular switch procedure, basically swapping the function of the left ventricle with the right ventricle.
This produces a 2-ventricle circulation to the patient as opposed to a uni or 1 ventricle circulation.
At 5 months old, DJ was the youngest patient to undergo the procedure.
I was terrified because I didn't have anybody to compare to my son. He would be the first.
It's been a long road to get home. DJ spent 484 days in the hospital and in rehabilitation.
Just to look at that smile, like to see how happy he is, it makes it all worth it.
I have my children under one roof for the holiday. It's like you get to the light, but the light keeps getting farther away. We sitting in the light, and I'm sitting in there with my kids. I'm blessed.
And they can't wait to celebrate DJ's next big milestone, his 2nd birthday next month. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
The Cleveland Clinic says double outlet right ventricle happens in just 1 in every 6,000 to 10,000 newborns. And pregnant women want to stick to a Mediterranean diet have a lower risk of preeclampsia or high blood pressure. A new study out of Cedar-Sinai Medical Center looked at women who followed the anti-inflammatory diet while pregnant, which is heavy on vegetables, whole grains, fish, and olive oil. They found an overall low risk of pregnancy complications, including a 28% lower risk of preeclampsia. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, how a historic winter storm is impacting other parts of the country.
We certainly felt the effects of that winter storm with record lows across the region, even below zero. Is it going to get any warmer? I'll have the answer when we return. Well, it was bone-chilling cold this morning across our area with temperatures below zero in pretty much every location. And today was the 2nd coldest high temperature for this date of 11 degrees. So we did tie or kind of get close to the record. And right now out in Seneca, Missouri, pretty nice day, mostly fair. It's a little bit on the chilly side, of course, because of the snow on the ground down there and also the lighter winds down there too. This afternoon, we made it up to a big old 11 degrees after starting out at -4. And believe it or not, that was not the record. The record was set back in 1989 where it was 15 below. The normals are 46 and 27. Of course, we were nowhere close to that. And this afternoon, we're going to see mostly sunny skies continuing through the evening hours. But as a result of the clear skies, temperatures are going to start falling like a rock once the sun goes down. Radar is all clear right now. Temperatures are in the teens pretty much, with the exception of Stockton at 9, also Monette at 9, 10 here in Joplin, 13 in Miami. A little bit warmer, if you want to call 14 warmer, for our friends over there in Nowata. But when it feels like, when you factor in the wind, it feels like it's below zero in most locations, including Webb City at -5, -7 in Neosho. Feels like a big old goose egg over there in Nowata right now, and that's because the winds are still up there. They are going to start to decrease as we go through time. You can see the wind starting to slacken a little bit and mainly kind of move up towards the north and east. And so by tomorrow at around noon, we'll see winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. And right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 10 degrees with a west wind at 13, so it makes it feel like -5. The dew point is way down there at -4, so it's very dry air, and the humidity is 53%. Tonight, mostly fair skies with temperatures dropping down again into the single digits across our region. 2 degrees in Garnett for one of the coldest readings, 6 degrees down in Pineville and also Jay and Chelsea. And then tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures rising into the lower 20s. So 20 degrees, a pretty common number across our area, up to the north in the teens. And then as we go through Saturday night into Sunday, we're going to see temperatures once again dropping down into the single digits for most locations, teens down to the south. And then Sunday afternoon, temperatures will start to rebound into the upper 20s. So that'll feel like a heat wave almost. And even breaking above freezing down to the south in Oklahoma. But Sunday night into Monday, we have a storm system moving in from the north and west with another cold front. Most of this action is going to stay to the north and east, but we could see some flurries around here, not really expecting a whole lot. In fact, here's a look at the snow tracker. Flurries across this area from Joplin to Chanute to the north and east, and maybe a dusting way up to the north of that, but not really expecting an accumulation. We are expecting the cold air to continue remaining entrenched across our area. Tomorrow morning, we'll see temperatures feeling like in the teens, below zero. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll still feel like it's in the single digits. And then by Sunday, we'll start to feel like temperatures in the mid-teens across the area. And that's because this cold air is going to start to retreat up to the north and east. But another weak system dropping down from the north is going to give us a little bit of cold air for Monday. Then that starts to move out of the way in time for the mild air to come in towards the middle part of the week, along with some precipitation with this next storm system. Over the next 7 days, we do start to see some light at the end of the tunnel, Carrie, with temperatures rising above freezing finally on Monday, and then Tuesday, 39 and then 54. And look at that, almost near 60 by Thursday and Friday, and this cold air will be a memory.
Well, I'm looking forward to Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to set our sights on Wednesday. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. More than 200 million people are under a winter weather advisory as a historic winter storm ranges across much of the country. Along with the snow, it is bitterly cold, with some states projected to experience temperatures as low as -50. Elsie Pernez reports from outside Chicago.
Blustering winds, blinding snow, and blistering cold. From the Midwest to the South, temperatures in 24 hours have plunged more than 50 degrees and way below zero. Like in western Montana, where temperatures dropped to -17 degrees, cold enough to make this boiling hot water turn into a snow cloud in seconds. But for millions in the path of the Arctic-like conditions, there's a real danger with power outages expected and the country's roads being blanketed with ice.
Even in the areas that have been plowed really well, if you get above 40 miles an hour, you start sliding around.
In Nebraska, the flashing lights of a state trooper's cruiser were hardly visible as he made his way to the vehicle after rushing into action to help a stranded driver. In Kansas City, one person died when their minivan plunged into an icy creek.
We had a vehicle upside down in Brush Creek.
When rescue crews arrived, they found the vehicle turned over in the water. This is one of at least 5 deaths due to the winter storm. The South won't escape this once-in-a-generation storm either. Frigid temperatures and snow is expected. By Thursday, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol reported more than 300 crashes.
I'm in the dark.
While outside Dallas, Rocky Garcia is using battery-operated lights to keep warm on the coldest day of the season while power is out.
I'm really glad that I have a fireplace because otherwise I'd be freezing right now.
As temperatures drop around the country, cities are opening warming centers to help people escape the dangerous cold. Elise Preston, CBS News, Oak Brook, Illinois.
Coming up, why Meta is being fined hundreds of millions of dollars. But first, we honor a local veteran. William Redding served in the U.S. Army in 1990 and 1991. The Joplin native was stationed in Iraq. We salute Sergeant William Redding, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Facebook's parent company is ending a lengthy legal drama with a $725 million settlement. The class action lawsuit against Meta started about 4 years ago after it announced third parties, including Cambridge Analytica, had access to private user information. A social media giant was also accused of misleading users about its privacy policies. Up to 280 million people could be eligible for payments. Meta did not admit any wrongdoing in agreeing to settle the case. Samsung is recalling more than 600,000 top-load washing machines over concerns they could short circuit and overheat, posing a fire hazard. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says owners should immediately stop use of the machines until the software is updated. There are washing machines that were bought from June 2021 through December 2022. It's the most wonderful time of year for thieves to target your identity. This is a prime season for texting scams. Reporter Christine Lazar explains how to spot them and how to not fall for them.
Well, if you're like me, you're glued to your cell phone this time of year, and it's because you're more likely to be busy and distracted that thieves see the holiday season as a great time to strike. Last holiday season, nearly 75% of Americans were targeted by scams. The text scams that were the most popular last year included delivery scams, prompting victims to click a link to provide personal information or even money so their package can be delivered. Also, fake fraud alerts by thieves posing as your bank. Finally, verification scams, such as asking you to verify your Amazon account so you can continue shopping.
They're really hoping that they're going to catch you off guard and you want to just make that problem go away and you react so quickly. But in reality, once you get those, that's exactly when you need to stop yourself and slow down because they're really trying to catch you.
So how can you protect yourself? Well, always validate a message that's asking for money or your personal information. Go directly to the source. Also, never click a link in a text. It opens you up to phishing. What do you do if you've already messed up and you fell for a scam? Well, change all your passwords. Next, alert companies to put a freeze on your credit. And if you downloaded any software, delete it right away. In Los Angeles, I'm Christine Lazar, CBS News.
Americans may want to be extra patient with deliveries of packages and presents this holiday season. The monster winter storm blasting much of the U.S. is causing delivery delays nationwide. FedEx issued a statement saying its hubs in Indianapolis and Memphis suffered major disruptions. UPS announced a similar situation, saying service in some regions could also be affected. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman goes on the road for a lesson on parenting. Then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more on how you can prevent and fix frozen pipes in your home. Plus, the extreme cold leads to a rise in heart attacks. And the Missouri Tigers will kick off their bowl game against Wake Forest in a few minutes. We'll have the latest on that. Stay tuned with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Tell us about the weather, Sam.
There's not much to say except it's cold, and I think everyone knows that, and it's going to continue to be cold for tonight with a low of 8. Then tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures rising into the 20s. We have to get past Monday before we start to see the warmer weather return. But even on Monday, we might see a few snow flurries, especially up to the north and northeast of the metro area. Then on Tuesday, it'll be chilly, but at least 39 degrees. And then the warmer weather finally starts to move back into our area on Wednesday with a pretty good chance of rain Thursday night into Friday with highs near 60 degrees and lows in the 40s. And if we extend that on out, it looks like we're going to stay in the 50s for a while. So we start off the new year on a mild note. So Not bad, it's just we have to get past Monday before things start to improve.
Okay, I'll look forward to Wednesday.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.